a daily fantasy. His number too high, then I'm probably fading him. He been on the road, he gon' eat up my salary. I hit up by, he gon' lie before lock. Play back to back, then I probably won't pick on the DFS bachelor good as it gets. Build a few liners and hit me a leg. He had a good game, but it might be a trick. Log in the Slack so I know who to pick. Sharing our liners, we all gon' get rich. New to this game, you should come to the pad. You might want some cash and get a good laugh. DFS sports, we gon' run up a bag. He heard every game and it's making me mad. You buying your lineups, I think you a cheater. DFS bachelor, he the new leader. Yeah.
What's up, everyone? Welcome back to the Bachelor Pad. I, of course, am your host of DFS Bachelor, and of course, I am joined by Mike at League of Items, our super brain for League of Legends, who's been helping everyone out. What's up, brother?
How's it going?
Good. We're going to go over tonight's, April 5th's LPL LCK six-game League of Legends Draftkings picks. First things first, thank you for all your support. I really do appreciate it. How many subscribers did you end up getting? Did you end up getting the 20 yesterday or close to it? I know we got a bunch. I'm awarding a winner anyways because I was real happy with the support, the comments. More and more of you are coming over here to watch us do League of Legends, and most people, just know me for NBA, NFL, WNBA. So it's humbling for me. I really appreciate it. Thank you all so much. If you are new to the channel, please hit that subscribe button down below. Get access to all of our content. Please click on that link. Go subscribe to Mike's channel. He does some special shows later in the day as well where he goes over his sheets and stuff. I try to join him for those if I can. I kind of have my son still has a little bit of a fever, so it's been a little bit stressful trying to sort him out. And sometimes being a single dad is just a pain in the ass. So there's all that, but he does a great job. So click over there and subscribe. Please hit that like button. Also, by liking the video, subscribing to the channel, and leaving a comment in the comment section, you qualify for our weekly $25 PayPal giveaway. I'll announce that winner on Monday. We're announcing a special $25 winner today because you guys just showed the love yesterday, and I really appreciated it. So before I forget, Evan Lowney, congratulations to you, bro. Hit me up on the Twitter sphere. Let me know how to get that to you with your information, and we'll get that sent to you right away today.
I think yesterday I got 25 subscribers.
Boom. So they hit it. We wanted 20, right? We said if you got 20.
Yeah.
So perfect. That's what we're looking for. Awesome. We really appreciate it. Thank you all very, very much. Also, there is a link down below for Draft Dashboard. For those of you, I know I didn't do an NBA sim video today, but I still have my player pool, cheat sheets. Everything's up there for that. There is a League of Legends cheat sheet, just kind of breaking down the slate that my boy Jordan writes over there as well. So you can try that for 30 days for $1. That is in the video description below. Okay, that's enough house cleaning. So how was your night? Hanwha life, huh? Burned you bad?
Yeah, they suck. Fuck them. basically going into it, I had a couple different combinations because I thought that there were a few different kinds of lineups that they would potentially run out.
Right.
But then they did a random combination. They did I think they did the backups for each position. I don't know. It was weird. Right. I thought that Lava was going to play, and I thought that Zenit was going to play.
Right.
Because he was the AD carry, and then they started using this Vista guy who's he was the backup support at one point, I think.
Right.
But then yesterday they just ran out Tempt and Vista. So
FanDuel is finally, for those of you who have been annoyed as shit with FanDuel all morning like I have, I had a great night. I'm waiting to see how well I did on FanDuel. They're finally starting to update some scores on FanDuel. They're not completely done yet, of course, but they're starting to update.
Well, good luck.
I have a good lineup there. I was all over APK. So APK and Dragon X really carried me all. I had a great night. Did great. 634, I think, was my high score on DraftKings. I only made 4 lineups, so I'll take it. Ended up like $60. I only played, 10, 12, so whatever. I'm going to start ramping it up as I start understanding more. I'm starting to get there. I'm starting to feel pretty comfortable with League of Legends. A lot of fun. And a lot of that is because of your help, so we appreciate that.
No problem.
So, should we just start at the first game? Is there anything else you wanted to add before we start?
So just a little bit of game theory stuff based off of what happened yesterday. I think that China not having a slate yesterday is going to make people kind of miss playing China and miss having the really high scoring teams. Last night, if there was a 6-game slate, I think APK probably would have been close to the first place team because their AD carry just went off. Like
Hybrid,
there
yeah, he
were a
went
lot of
off.
there were a lot of like game situations that allowed their AD carry to get, like, he got a pentakill last night, which is pretty crazy. Like it happens every once in a while, like probably a few times a week across
Right.
the globe in professional esports.
Gotcha.
But he had 26 kills last night,
Yeah.
which is wild.
Yeah, he killed it. He's my
yeah.
captain in several and like 60% of my lineup, so I hit hard on that. But we
Yeah,
talked about it. He was a price down AD carry with upside
Yeah.
that you could put in the captain spot. That's a way to go.
I had some of him, but not enough. I did have an APK Dragon X stack, but I should have had more.
Yeah.
Basically.
I mean, it's DFS.
yeah.
If you'd have had more, then maybe they would have lost. So maybe you tilted the scales
exactly.
my way. You never know. The fantasy
You're
gods.
welcome.
The
Hopefully
fantasy
you
god.
win-
Yeah.
Hopefully you win that other tournament then.
Damn
and then
right.
I'll feel better about it.
That's right. The fantasy gods are fickle, man. You gotta watch them.
So basically the reason I'm bringing that up is because I think that when people are looking for plays on today's slate, I think it's going to be heavily everybody's going to gravitate towards the Chinese teams because they weren't able to play them yesterday.
Sure.
And they were probably bored by the slate last night because a lot of the scores were down.
Right.
But this, like I said yesterday, the scoring for every individual match is dictated by the two teams that are playing. What kind of loser are they? Are they the kind of team who isn't willing to look stupid? Because like I think that the best teams in the world are willing to look stupid.
Right.
If you're losing, you need to make plays to get back in the game.
Right.
And the one thing that I'd say, like comparing it to traditional sports, is compare it to baseball. So in baseball, everybody knows at this point, thanks to like analytics, that solo home runs don't really win games.
Right.
It's the same thing in League of Legends. When you get one random kill on the map, like if it's one person versus one person, like it's nice. It's a nice to have. Like obviously you'd rather get the kill than not get the kill.
Right.
But the best case scenario is these huge team interactions where it's 3 versus 3 or 5 versus 5. And then you have your carries being protected by the rest of their team. And like just the game goes out of control.
Sure.
So in order to get those kinds of situations, those are easier to predict, I think, in LCK than in LPL. In LPL, there's a lot more of those solo home runs, and they're just continuously swinging for the fences. But in LCK, if the two teams are going to be in that 5 versus 5 situation early on in the game, then it just gives you the same exact upside as LPL. So it's going to look different, but they both have the same upside, and I cannot stress that enough. Like, you need to have exposure to Korea because one of these days, a Korean team is just going to destroy a 6-game slate, and they're probably going to be low owned just because they're Korea, which is crazy.
Right. Well, and Korea, like we talked about, we get a ton of questions about this on Twitter. It's hard to get Korean information, to get news on the Korean teams. We don't know who's going to start and sit, no matter how many times you ask, no matter where we go. Occasionally that first game, like we barely got it yesterday, right before the game, and you had to search the depths to find it. The Chinese teams released their starting lineup, so it's going to be a safer play. People are going to know more, so they're going to gravitate towards it, which makes complete sense. I mean, you don't want to play a 0. So,
I feel like that was a shot at me.
What's that?
I feel like that was a shot at me.
Why? What do you mean?
Me and my 0-0 last night from Hanwha Life because they're assholes.
Oh no, that's definitely not a shot at you.
I'm joking.
Definitely not.
But I'm not joking. I'm just hurt.
Yeah, they screwed
My
you.
heart hurts.
And that's the risk with the Korean teams. It's a pain in the ass.
Yeah,
it's a total risk with them. That's why I really focused yesterday when I was playing a player. I wanted to focus on players that did not have a substitute.
Yeah.
Just to cover my ass.
Yep.
And there's nothing wrong with taking a risk and going for low ownership for a player who could not play if you're playing multiple lineups. Like, I mean, after all, we're gambling here, you take a shot. But anyways, should we jump into it? First game?
Yep.
LNG versus JDG. The favorite in this game is JDG. This is a Chinese league game. They've announced the starters. The one big difference you will notice is Zoom is starting at the top over 705 for JDG. So that's different than what's been happening. I think he was quarantined because of Corona or something. So he had been in like a quarantine for a couple of months.
I'm not sure. I'm not sure about
from the
that
information I read, but he is starting today, Zoom over 705. So that is a difference today. JDG, big favorites over LNG or no?
Let's take a look. So they're minus 350. So the sports book is saying that they are a big favorite, but I think that LNG. Oh, and LNG is actually they're starting a backup AD carry tonight. So in their last matchup, they lost to like a shitty team, and I guess they're like uh making a switch because of that, which I think it's a good thing. Like I have played Asura a lot in the past, and I've won a decent amount of money with Asura, but in League of Legends, it's more important about what team you're playing than the individual players you're playing normally.
Right.
So I think for LNG, even though they're like a plus 240,
Right.
I like LNG, especially because of the substitute top laner on JDG. I need to do some more like research on Zoom to figure out if he's better than their previous top laner.
Right.
But the fact that he's a new player in a team environment, I think that Flandre can take advantage of that. Flandre has been a very popular Chinese top laner for years, and he has a very cool champion pool, and he's able to win 1v1 matchups very hard, and he can carry the game.
Right.
So I'm definitely looking for some Flandre tonight.
Gotcha. Yeah, and just looking, obviously JDG is a more expensive team. And again, if you're stacking the winning team, you want to correlate the jungler, your mid, and your AD carry. Trying to get the mid or the AD carry gives you the most upside in the captain spot. So, Yagao, Loken would be your choices, right, in the captain spot if you're stacking JDG, if you can afford it. We're going to keep going through the games. We'll see if there's some salary relief so you can do something like that.
Yeah.
And then obviously for LNG, you talked about Asura. He's only 9,900 in the captain spot, so it's taking the underdog, putting him in that captain spot. It's light, so he's even cheaper at 9,600. That's right. Yeah, light is in as well.
Yep.
So there is some upside to be had there if you're looking for the contrarian play.
Yeah, so my only thoughts on this game is I do like Kanavi. I think Kanavi is a good player for JDG. Yagao and Loken are both, probably league average in terms of their skill. But, we're just trying to get exposure to different combinations of players. So I would play both of them with a slight lean towards Loken. And then on LNG, I think they're a live dog. I definitely want exposure to them as parts of like 4-3 stacks and 3-4 stacks. I think that they are a good play tonight. And Light is going to scare some people because he doesn't play as often as Asura. But like I've said, it's more important to have exposure to a team than to a specific player.
Right.
Because if they want to play around Light and give him the kills and protect him, they can do it. They definitely can do it.
Right. Makes a ton of sense. All right. Anything else in this game? I think we covered that game pretty well.
Yeah. So JDG is the favorite, and they deserve to be the favorite, but LNG is a live dog.
LNG is an underdog worth taking a shot on. Yeah, absolutely. All right. Our second game, it's a Korean game, LCK. So I get this question as well, like what is the LPL, LCK, LE? The three-letter acronyms after LOL stands for League of Legends. Then the three letters after that are which league they play in. So some of these teams are from Korea. Some of these teams, like these tonight, it's teams from Korea and China. LPL is China. LCK is Korea. Then when we have like the LCE and all that, Europe and America. So that's what all that means. Just to answer that, I've gotten a bunch of that question as well. So I just thought I'd throw that out there.
Yeah, it's a pretty important starting point.
It is. It is, especially like the Korean teams on their LCK teams. Again, we're never going to get the full start, the starters for all three games before lock. And we're lucky to get, like the Damwon Gaming T1 game starts at the same time as the JDG LNG game. Good chance we'll have starters. And, T1, we know pretty well who's going to start for them. But there's always risk. It's bottom line. There's just always risk with the Korean teams.
Correct.
Okay, so the favorite in this game is T1. I would imagine they're a big favorite over Damwon Gaming.
It's the same as JDG over LNG, so it's minus 345, and then Damwon Gaming's plus 248.
Oh, nice. And I actually like the pricing here for T1. They are not overly expensive.
So minus 345 is equal to 78%.
Right.
So they are huge favorites. Everybody knows that they're huge favorites. It's not a surprise to anybody. If you look at the rosters, the salaries, in Draftkings, their team is the most expensive team on the night. Like the team position is the most expensive team on the night.
Right.
But if you look at their top laners, the third most expensive. Their jungler, who they go back and forth between, so that's that's an area that you have to be careful with or have exposure to both.
Right.
They're the fourth most expensive, and then the mid and AD carry are fourth, and the support is the fifth most expensive.
Right.
So you are going to get a little bit of salary savings because they're not as popular as the Chinese teams, and because of the stigma around Korean teams being lower scoring.
Right.
But with T1 versus Damwon Gaming, I think that it's going to be relatively close. Relatively. I think it's going to be more high scoring than normal Korean matches because Damwon Gaming isn't the kind of team to just lay down and die. I don't think.
And T1 just has big upside. That Teddy Faker combo, 80 carry mid. Faker's one of the best players in the world, right? If not the best player in the world. Am I right about that?
Yeah, exactly. So one thing that we've touched on in the past that I think is important to remember for tonight is if you want to get exposure to T1, but you're afraid of the upside, I would say go after the top support and team positions.
Right.
Because for favorites who 2-0, you're going to get roughly the same score out of them, regardless of how many kills that mid and AD carry get.
Right.
The variance for top laners and supports and teams is lower than mids and AD carries. That's what I'm trying to say.
Gotcha. And is Damwon a live dog, or is this a team you're probably staying away from?
I don't pick against T1 almost ever.
Right. I'm kind of right there with you. Of course, if you're making 150 lineups and you want to be super contrarian and, throw a dart at the dartboard, take a shot on it. They're heavy underdogs. They're going to be low owned. They are cheap, but I'll be avoiding that for the most part. Like if I'm making 5 lineups, I probably won't have any Damwon Gaming.
Sure.
So, all right, our third game. I think we're getting better at breaking these games down quickly. Look at that.
You got to know though, fast isn't always good.
That's right. That's what she said. But when you get older, you get selfish, man. I don't have time to be messing around. All right, our next game, Bilibili Gaming versus EDG. The favorite in this game is EDG. This is an LPL game. EDG probably a heavy favorite in this, I would imagine.
Yeah, so apparently all the sports books love minus 345 tonight.
Okay.
EDG is minus 345. Again, that's like a 78% chance to win. I want to take a look at the standings real quick because I don't think it should be like this. I think this line is off.
I can tell you the pricing on Draftkings is drastic. EDG is their backup top liner is more than the 80 carry for Bilibili Gaming.
Yeah. The salaries are so heavily correlated with.
Right. Let me check. I'll check the starting lineup too to make sure that.
No, yeah. So it is right, and I just thought I know the last time that Bilibili was on a slate, they were the most expensive team.
Right.
Because they were playing against Rogue Warriors. I had a decent amount of exposure to Rogue Warriors that night because I thought that they were a live dog, and they were. Bilibili Gaming, why were they they were the most expensive team, and they shouldn't have been.
I think they were playing someone shitty. Who did they play? I'm trying
Rogue
to remember.
Warriors.
Oh yeah, that's why. Because Rogue Warriors had just fallen off a cliff, but then they came back finally.
So I think it's because in their previous matchup they had beaten World Elite, who's relatively good. And they went 1-2 versus E-Star. They went 1-2 versus FPX.
Right.
So they've shown that they can force 3 games against good teams.
Right.
So maybe that decreases the percent chance that EDG gets a 2-0.
Real quick, I didn't touch on this either. In that first game, the JDG LNG, JDG is on the blue side, so they're drafting first. In that second game, T1's a heavy favorite. Does Damwon Gaming drafting first affect any of the upside for the T1 players?
I don't think so.
Okay.
There are certain teams that are not impervious to it, but it's not going to change my opinion. Like if there are certain metagames, like if you look at something like in Europe and certain Chinese teams like Dragon X last night, that if they are blue side and Senna is left open, then they're going to pick Senna.
Right.
So when a team picks Senna, that means that the AD carry is going to have significantly lower creep score which you get points for on Draftkings.
Right.
But they should have the same upside in terms of kills and assists. And when you have Senna on your team, you need to play around the fact that you have Senna. So
Gotcha.
you're going to have those 5-versus-5 engagements.
Right.
So it's the kind of thing where we want our team to have Senna. So if you're blue side, I would always try to have exposure to that possible outcome.
Perfect.
Specifically on 1-game slates. 3-game slate is tougher because you're not going to get it 3 games in a row, most likely.
Sure.
But it's just something to keep in the back of your mind.
Sure. And another question I get asked, how do we know that they're the blue side or red side? I'm sure there's other ways to know, but how I know is when you look right here at the games, the team on top is the blue side. The team
and that's for the first game. They don't necessarily keep the same side for all 3 games, but a lot of teams just choose to stay on the same side the whole time.
Gotcha.
So that they can prepare one draft strategy.
Gotcha.
And they don't have to keep switching it up.
Gotcha. So obviously in this game, are you going to have much exposure to Bilibili Gaming, or is this an EDG game for you?
So I will not have any exposure to Bilibili. And then the only thing that I'm going to look out for is sports projections graph, to see what kind of upside EDG has because they're playing Bilibili Gaming.
Mm-hmm.
I think it does decrease the chance that they 3-0. So that changes how I feel about EDG's top laner support and team.
So are all these games tonight best of 5?
Best of 3.
Best of 3. Okay.
This is still regular season.
Okay, good.
But we're getting to the point in the season where there are large playoff implications.
Right.
And personally, I think that kind of thing shouldn't matter, but it does.
Right.
It's just stupid that it actually matters to some of these teams.
Right.
But it all in Korea, there's also relegation. So these teams don't necessarily have a spot for next split.
Right.
So you have these the lower end teams. It's going to make them play more extreme, either more extremely safe or more extremely aggressive. If they're a good, quote unquote, good bad team, like a team who thinks of themselves as good and trusts in their abilities, they're going to be more aggressive. If you're a shitty team and you're afraid of everything, then you're going to play a lot slower.
Right. Makes sense. And just real quick, I know EDG shows 3 junglers. Junjaya is the starter. He has been for a while, and he will be starting, so there's no confusion there.
Yep.
Okay, that's it in the game. And as usual, correlate the AD carry, correlate the mid, right? Correlate the jungler. Yep. Upside, if you can afford. If you go to the EDG and you're stacking them at the top and their captain, you're going to have to find salary relief somewhere because they're expensive.
Yep.
Okay, game 4. APK, my boys. They did great for me last night. They're on the blue side against Griffin, Team Griffin. APK is obviously the favorite in this game. Neither one of these teams are great teams, but Griffin's really bad, if I remember right. Is that correct?
Yeah, so both of these teams are in trouble and might get relegated. APK has been hot recently, so I think that they're definitely the favorites for good reason.
Yeah.
But they're minus 200. No, they're minus... APK is minus 170.
A little bit closer than the other ones?
Yes.
Yeah.
So minus 170 is closer to 65%.
Right.
And they are not... In reality, if they played this matchup 1,000 times, I don't think that APK wins 650 times. I think that is closer than that. I think it's more of like a 55-45.
Okay.
So I would definitely want exposure to Griffin. Viper and Tarzan are good players, and this is going to be an opportunity for them to step up and kind of carry their team. So it's the second matchup of the night. We don't necessarily know who's going to start,
right?
But I think that they took a game off of T1 the other day. So if you're running a lot of lineups out there, I would highly suggest having exposure to Griffin with different combinations. It's going to give you salary relief, and it's going to give you the upside of having an underdog who can 2-0.
Right.
And APK has been playing in high kill matchups recently.
Yeah. Hybrid, so 3 straight games over 100. Hybrid's been absolutely on fire.
This is a Korean matchup, but I think that it's going to be more like what you see in the LPL. I think both of these teams will play with a sense of urgency.
Right. Yeah, I'm going to have exposure to both sides in this game.
Yeah.
And Hybrid in the captain spot, I'm going to keep riding the train because he is, title of the sex tape, but he has been red hot. He has been red hot lately.
Yeah,
so.
and And so one reason why that is, and one reason why I think he's been performing well on DraftKings is because of his champion pool. He is APK is one of the teams that's been playing Kaisa. So Kaisa is another AD carry champion that's very good in like 5v5 team fighting because that champion scales really well into that like team fight portion of the game.
Gotcha.
So you could be in a situation where the enemy team is all clumped up and Hybrid just goes in on his own, which is, well, not on his own, but he goes into the fight. Like he gets in close proximity to the enemy team, which is not typical for AD carries. And he does a ton of damage just based on the champion kit. So I think that it's going to be something they do again tonight.
Gotcha.
I definitely want exposure to both sides of this.
Yep, me too. Perfect. Game 5, our final LPL game on the slate. RNG versus Invictus Gaming. Invictus Gaming is the favorite here, but are they an overwhelming favorite, or is this one a little bit closer?
So let me just check, because I mean it's a great question to ask, because there's public perception and there's reality.
Right.
So based off of just the standings alone, Invictus Gaming is 9-1, RNG is 7-3. I've said this before. RNG is playing with a backup AD carry right now, but Betty, who is their backup AD carry, has been playing very well.
Yes, he has.
So, what'd you say?
Yeah, I said yes, he has. I love RNG.
Yeah.
I'm gonna have a ton of exposure to them. They're one of my underdog favorites tonight.
Yeah, so I think RNG is definitely a live dog. The line in this game is minus 244 to plus 178. So minus 244 is about 70-ish.
Right.
I think that RNG wins probably 40% of the time, maybe 45% of the time. So basically, when you have a substitute player, you need the rest of your team to understand how to play the game, because if 4 out of 5 of your players are playing correctly and like shot calling and moving around the map correctly, then the fifth person can have no idea what the fuck is going on, but just be a good player and follow everybody else's lead.
Right.
So Betty is better than that. Betty is he was a starter in the other Chinese league for like a very good team. So he has a higher upside than most substitute players. And I think that not only are they a live dog, they're also going to have great scoring conditions, because Invictus Gaming is the kind of team who is continuously putting pressure on the map, continuously fighting, and isn't afraid to give up kills.
Right.
Because they know that solo home runs don't win games.
Right.
So they're always trying to force the issue and hit a solo home run so that they can hit a grand slam next time.
Right.
The more opportunities you have to score points for your own team and to like generate gold and to build up that lead incrementally, the better. If you're the kind of team like where you have on a baseball team, let's say the top of your lineup is really good, and that's like the only way that you're going to score runs. So every time you get to the top of the lineup, everybody's swinging for the fences and trying to like just get a solo home run. Invictus Gaming is a kind of team where 1 through 9, they're extremely strong, and every single one of them can swing for the fences.
Right.
So if you have 9 opportunities to hit a home run versus 3 or 4 opportunities to hit a home run, you're going to score a lot more points.
Sure.
And I think that that's what Invictus Gaming does in almost all their matches. Even when they lose games, they have high kills. So this is a series that I would consider game stacking, and then I would want different kinds of exposure to both sides. So right. I do love this game.
Yeah.
I think that the chances of one team 2-0ing is a little lower because it is a close matchup.
Sure.
But it is possible. So I do want 4 3 stacks from this game on each side, and then I want exposure to captains from both of these teams, and I'm probably going to have game stacks with these teams as well.
Right. Yeah, and you're getting a nice salary savings with RNG, so that could be an underdog with high scoring upside that you can put in the captain, mid jungler, and have enough salary to pay up and get a team like T1 who's a heavy favorite, etc.
Yeah. And I think another thing that I'll do tonight is have a couple of stacks that are double underdog.
Sure.
Because that's
if they win, you're in first place. You have a great shot of being alone in first place. Never hurts. Yep. And don't be alarmed. I do that a lot, and sometimes those lineups get like 300 points. They just get absolutely smoked. But I'm throwing that away. I realize that's the risk, but you just never know.
Yeah. If you want to win 50 grand, nut up. If you want to just throw out lineups and cash and think that you're cool because you're cashing,
That's right.
Then you can do whatever the hell you want.
That's right. That's right.
You're watching the wrong video if that's what your goal is. Exactly. You need to give yourself upside to win first place. That's the highest equity play. That's the highest equity way to play.
Yep. And for you cash game players, I was getting a lot of questions on it last night. Yeah, you could play the safe route, play your cash. You don't have to have a bunch of winners in your cash games. I know someone on Twitter won 400, doubled up his $215 entry. He had 6 losers on his team and still doubled up in cash. Wow. So you can take a safer route, or 5 out of his 7 were on the losing team, and he still cashed. He still won his 50-50. So, putting supports in the captain spot, junglers, saving salary, and playing safe is something you can do for cash. I don't play cash games. I could give 2 shits about cash games, but
that's the thing, is that like this isn't basketball. Like you can't have like certainty about running cash lineups out there, because even if you pick teams that win the game, they're not necessarily going to score a lot of points. So in basketball, if you pick a winner, the winner probably scored 100 to 120 points. In League of Legends, you can have a winner who has 7 kills, which is equal to like 50 points in basketball.
Right.
So it's just not the same thing.
Right.
Cash has never made sense to me.
Yeah.
For esports, just because it's so high variance.
Gotcha. Yeah, I'm right there with you. All right, our last game. We are doing an amazing job. We're only at 31 minutes right now. That is incredible.
Well, here I was thinking that we always did an amazing job.
Well, I mean, I do think that as well. I don't know. Whatever.
Fast. You're addicted to speed today.
I am addicted to speed. Yeah, I'm gonna watch Keanu Reeves later today. Sandra Bullock's legs in that movie. I can't get over it. Anyways, I'm watching Speed today. It's happening.
So Europe just finished their playoff match. Fnatic won. They were down 5,000 gold in this game, and once a team gets past the 2,000 gold mark, you're not supposed to lose. And Fnatic came back from 5,000 gold. So good for Fnatic.
Damn. Still didn't help my lineup because, I almost got there. Damn it, I almost got there, but G2 fucking sucks. So they can fuck off. Thanks a lot, G2.
Well, you have to wait for the games not played bonuses to kick in.
Oh, that's John. I might creep up over the line there on that one. Our last game, Hanwha Life, your favorite team, and Afreeca Freecs. Afreeca Freecs are the favorite in this game. These are 2 bad teams, right? I mean, these aren't
God,
good teams.
I'm tilting already. Oh, God, my heart. Okay. So, Afreeca Freecs, I think they're the better team.
Hanwha Life's on the blue side for what that means.
And the thing that sucks is that does matter, and that is going to trick me into playing them, because Afreeca Freecs, I think, has been terrible at drafting. So, I don't know if the people who are watching this video are keeping notes of that kind of stuff, because I'm sure that being new to League of Legends, it's tough to fully understand what all the implications are for something like that.
Sure.
So if a team is bad at drafting and they're the red side team, then they're going to leave very good champions open to the other team. So yesterday I made the comparison of when you draft a very good champion like Senna or Aphelios, then you're basically drafting LeBron James onto your team. If you're a bad drafting team and you're on the red side, it's going to negatively impact your chances of winning the game.
Right.
In a very real way.
Right.
So Hanwha Life, if Afreeca Freecs has a bad drafting night, Hanwha Life is going to get the broken champions and they're going to win. But I have no idea who you're supposed to roster from Hanwha Life. So good luck if you want to go that route. They're going to be very low owned. It will be a good contrarian play. Hanwha Life and Afreeca Freecs, I think, are both at the bottom of the table. So let me just check that. Yeah, Hanwha Life is 9th and Afreeca Freecs is 6th. So Afreeca Freecs, I think, is mathematically safe from relegation. I don't think that they can get relegated at this point, but nobody wants to lose to a shitty team.
Right.
So they're gonna go out there and try.
Well,
obviously.
and I don't know if when teams lose, like Hanwha Life has been doing, like they did last night, does that incentivize them to maybe change their lineup up some?
Yes.
So if I'm thinking about playing Hanwha Life, I might focus on the top, the jungler, the support, and the team, because they don't have any backups there. So they're going to play.
Yeah. So maybe you do something like get a one-off. So that's okay.
Or so
now we're getting into interesting game theory territory.
Right.
So if you want to get exposure, or if you want to differentiate one of your lineups and you need a little bit of salary savings, pick Lehend from Hanwha Life. If Hanwha Life gets a champion like Senna, then it will put Lehends onto a champion that is going to get more farm than normal. So he's going to have a higher upside, and then he also has a higher kill upside too. So I think that is something that I will have exposure to if I really need to differentiate one of my lineups and save some salary somewhere.
And there's no backup. He's definitely going to play. He's 4,600. Yeah. Love it.
Yeah, Lehends is a good player. He was on Griffin basically. I don't know all the specifics behind it, but last year Griffin was a good team. Griffin had some huge controversy where they were doing some shady stuff. They were like fined a huge amount of money, and their team basically like had to give up its entire roster, I think. So you have Griffin players on a bunch of different teams right now, and they're all good players. It's just they're in new environments, and they're like taking time to become a cohesive unit.
Gotcha. Yeah, I probably won't have much exposure to this game. Just I don't see a ton of upside when I'm looking at it. So this will probably be this game and the other game that I didn't really want a ton of. I think maybe that JDG LNG game. I don't know how much exposure I'll have to that one either.
Okay, I would probably suggest getting exposure to that one. So
maybe was it the Billy Gaming one that I didn't want? I feel like there was one other game I didn't want much exposure to.
It's probably the third and fourth.
Yeah. So Bilibili Gaming is probably the one.
So if you were ranking these games in terms of ownership percentage, which games do you think will be in order? What games do you think will be the most popular?
Well, I do think that JDG. I was mistaken. I was looking at BLG EDG that I probably won't have much exposure to. I would think that just because it's an early game, I think that the JDG LNG game will be popular. The RNG IG game's got to be the most popular on the slate, I would imagine. Yep.
That's what I was going to say. So I think that RNG, because they are a live dog and they're playing against Invictus Gaming, they're going to be the most popular underdog, I think.
Right.
What about the rest?
The second one, I would probably say the T1 DWG game will be pretty popular. Just because people like T1. They know they're a good team. They have a pretty good... Of all the Korean teams, you have a really decent shot of knowing who's playing. I know the Elam and Cuz thing can be a little frustrating.
Yeah.
But again, it's going to be the LPL teams because they have the reputation of being higher scoring. We know who the starters are. So I do think that's going to sway a lot of people's decisions when they're putting their teams together.
Okay, so based off of what you just said, I think that you're right that Invictus Gaming will probably be the most popular. JDG is going to be very highly owned. T1 is going to be very highly owned. EDG is going to be very highly owned. RNG is probably going to be the between fifth and sixth most popular teams. I think that players are not going to want to roster LNG, but they should. I think that they're not going to want to roster Bilibili Gaming or Damwon Gaming, and that's probably a good call.
Right.
I just want to go through all these real quick. Then APK versus Griffin. I think that we don't have clarity around the lineups, and it's Korea. I think that they're going to be less popular than RNG and LNG. So I like both of those as contrarian plays. And then 1, 2, 3, 4. Hanwha Life and Afreeca Freecs. I think this is going to be the lowest.
Yeah, and probably for me as well. I'll probably stay away from that game.
Yeah, so I'm right now. I'm trying to figure out what do I think is going to be the ownership percentage, not the ranking of how I feel about them.
Sure.
But so if I was going to roster Hanwha Life versus Afreeca Freecs, I would prefer to have. I think Afreeca Freecs, because you're going to have a contrarian captain, but it seems unlikely that they're going to be first, like the best back on the night.
Right.
So it's going to be a little difficult to get them into your lineups.
Right.
So I would probably, in order of like ownership percentage, I think it's going to be IG, JDG, T1, EDG, RNG, LNG, APK, Afreeca Freecs, Griffin, Hanwha Life Esports. Damwon Gaming, Bilibili Gaming.
Yeah.
So actually, I think Hanwha Life is going to be last because the whole roster situation.
Sure. And APK could get a little boost because of recency bias. They just went off last
Definitely.
night and won people some money. So I'm gonna have plenty of APK, of course. So.
Yep.
Anything else on this slate? I think we covered it all. Anything else you wanted to go over? Didn't you?
Well, so we can do that in a separate video. But who's your favorite, and who's your favorite underdog?
My favorite underdog is RNG, hands down. Yep. And my favorite is probably, EDG's probably going to crush Bilibili Gaming, so I do like them, but I think T1, I can afford them easier if I pair them with.
So do you think they're going to be the top stack T1, even though they're Korean?
They'll be the top Korean stack. Them and APK, I think. APK is going to get some recency biased because of last night. And then T1 is just popular because everyone knows they put up a ton of points.
Okay. And then out of these 6 games, which matchup do you think is going to be the highest scoring?
Probably RNG IG. Makes a lot of sense to me that would be the highest scoring game.
Yeah. I think you're going to see heavily concentrated ownership on that.
Yeah. For good reason. That's why I'm going to try to be a little different. When I stack those games, I'll probably go to an APK or maybe an LNG. Go the underdog.
Word.
So, that's it. Anything else on this slate?
Nope.
Again, thank you all so much for watching. Be sure to click the link and subscribe to Mike's channel as well. We really appreciate all the support. May the fantasy gods be with you tonight. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, be part of the giveaway. Congratulations again to Evan Lowney. Hit me up on Twitter. If you hit me up in the comment section, make sure you spell out the email that it goes to, because sometimes YouTube will block those links from being in there and I can't find it, and then I look like an asshole and I don't mean to. So that's it. Thank you all again so much. Really appreciate all the support. We will see you tomorrow. We're breaking this down like this for every slate. I'm sure Mike will have another shorter video out later today. I will try to be on that as well, so be sure to look out for that as well. Thank you all again so much. Peace.
Thanks. See you.